And welcome back to Books Are Us, and I'm your host, George Donahue. With me is a very special guest, Eduardo Rossellini. Did I get the name right?
That is correct.
All right. And you have written a book that we would like to highlight today called Behold My Glory. Can you give us a little bit of a background to the title of the book?
Well, Behold My Glory is really about beholding my glory. It's truly a beautiful book as I delve into my deepest secrets, desires, sometimes lustful desires. But it's really about living life to its fullest and enjoying love.
I understand. You have a lot of candid different experiences that you write about that. Is a picture on the front anything special?
Well, this goes back to my mother. I believe that all true love goes back to one's mother and how she has modeled it for you and for me.
I understand. So, do you find yourself...
If you notice, there were lots of men around my mother quite a bit of the time, unfortunately. I don't know if that has anything to do with the way I view love now, but, you know.
Well, sometimes, would you agree that we follow some of the examples of what we've seen?
I would say so. Hopefully, by reading my book, you can understand how to enjoy these desires and live life to its fullest.
So you would say it'd be okay then to pursue those desires and the lustful cravings of...
Well, absolutely. That's what life is all about, right? I mean, as I look around here, you know, I look over there, okay? And you see that stagehand girl over there. She's a good-looking woman.
Yes, she is.
Very good-looking woman. In fact, as I look around, I could look on her as I would look on anyone in this room. But as I look at her, I let my eyes wander. I let them linger in a very nice way.
I prefer you not to linger
and
on
as I let them linger on her, I see that her eyes are lingering on me.
They are?
Yes. It's okay.
I would like you to stop right now. It's Eduardo, okay. That is my wife.
Your feeling.
We'll talk later, honey. Okay. Is there an issue why you would linger on someone else's wife? Do you not find that wrong?
You know, it's not that anyone owns another person. It is about enjoying each other while we are alive.
But we are committed in a relationship, and yet you are now violating that relationship. You are bringing that lust into my relationship.
Well, she's a beautiful woman. See, I mean, we can enjoy her. We can all be free to enjoy what we need to enjoy.
You think so?
Yes.
Why don't you go a little bit more detail into the book for me, would you please? Thank you.
So, as you go through the book, you will first kind of go through my childhood as a precocious boy who often did what he wanted to do, not necessarily listening to what the older people were telling him. And as I grow into my manhood, you will see in chapter 3, Sowing the Wild Oats, that I really live my life and begin to explore who I am as a man.
That's very interesting that you had done that. And so what I would like maybe for us to do is to be able to go to a break right now, a commercial break, and we'll pick up this conversation in just a moment, okay?
Excellent.
We'll be right back. Well, that's very interesting that you're talking. Would you like something more to drink?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
And but I think there's an issue that I think as you were looking at my wife lustfully, you were bringing kind of adulterated looks into my life, and I don't really appreciate that, Eduardo. Yeah, is there something wrong with?
There's something wrong with this. It's been adulterated. This coffee.
Adulterated. What do you mean by adulterated?
And I think I missed some water or something.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. You can have it here. Just a little bit more of this. Would you like a little bit more? Eduardo, we're back. Well, welcome back. I apologize for the fact that my guest today, Eduardo, is no longer feeling well. He came down with a little contamination inside of his drink, apparently, and But we will be back next week with a brand new show and a brand new book, bringing it to you live and uncut and unrehearsed. And of course, my name is George Donahue, and I thank you for joining us today. Well, Dan, in light of this week's sermon on adultery, we heard Pastor Robarge talk about how adultery can creep in small steps at a time within relationships, and it's not only just the big, having sex outside of marriage type of thing, but also become pornography and the looking at other women and those type of things as well.
Yeah, I think everybody just assumes they hear the word adultery, they think, oh well, they cheated on their spouse or significant other with somebody else. Well, it's so much more than that. It's the lingering looks, the people finding something to look at that maybe they shouldn't be looking at, or thinking things that they shouldn't be thinking about.
Yeah, and he brought up that justification, that we try to justify what we're doing. It's not so bad, but then that contamination that enters. It's kind of like the coffee for Eduardo. He got a little bit of contamination, and next thing you know, it wasn't a very good thing for him.
Yeah. That's for sure. That's for sure. That was interesting in the sermon, was going back to the original language of what really adultery was a contamination of something. In the one case, the coffee, but the larger thought process that it's the entire relationship that is now contaminated by those thoughts, videos, what have you. That are really improper. And I think it's interesting that has even a bigger implication as it becomes more acceptable that continues to contaminate other relationships and so forth and so on. And we really need to be the ones that stop that.
Yeah. I think it's interesting to also think, to close this section off, is how the world is accepting the sexual videos and images. If you look through PG-13 ratings, they're even getting closer to what the R's used to be a long time ago. And so just the media itself is really pushing that. We just got to be careful with that and guard our hearts, put a fence up around our hearts so that we only let what God wants in there and not that other stuff, so it doesn't become contaminated.
Absolutely.
So with that, we'll see you next week. And Dan, I don't look upon you any way else but as a friend.
I kind of see you as a killer now, but...
Well, wait a minute.